Hi everyone, welcome to Crafting with Giulia. I'm Giulia and I'm so glad you tuned in today. If you enjoy my video, please hit the like button and leave me a comment. I love to get feedback from my viewers. Also, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you can be notified of all my newly released videos. Also, feel free to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and I invite you to join my Facebook group called Crafting with Giulia's Creative Community, where you can be part of my crafting family. All of those links are in the description below this video. Project number one is this adorable little radio flyer wagon that you can make with things laying around your house. This will make a great little decoration for Christmas time. So for the wheels, I started with these, the insides of mason jar lids. And what I did was I just took two and I glued them together, and that will act as my wheel. So I just put a little hot glue on the center and press them together, and you'll need 8 of those. And I'm going to take those and I am going to spray paint them white. You're going to also need some dowels, and you're going to need some little half balls. So right now I am going to paint the little half balls. I think they're 1/2-inch balls. And they're flat on one side. So I'm going to take a little red paint and I'm just going to give that a little color. That will act as the hub for my wheels. So I'm just going to put a little bit of paint here on my palette. And I'm just going to paint those red. Then I took two 12-inch dowels, which I am going to cut to 6 inches. So I'm going to take my miter shears here and just cut these. There, that's a great little tool, my little miter shears, love them. Got them on Amazon. So now I am going to paint the dowels and my little Jenga blocks that I got from Dollar Tree. I have 6 Jenga blocks, and I'm going to paint everything black. Now this will act as my axle to put my wheels on. So the reason for the Jenga blocks is to give it a little depth. I don't want the rod to be laying on my tray, so that is going to bump it out a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and paint everything black. I found this pan, which I liked even better, and this is plastic. I'm not sure where I got it from. It was just in my stash. So I went ahead and I first gave it a coat of the matte clear enamel, and this makes the spray paint stick to the surface because this is plastic. So after that dried, I spray painted it with red spray paint. And then after that dried, I went ahead and I attached my spatula to the bottom, okay? And that's going to act as the handle. Now, before I do anything, I am going to put my radio flyer logo on the sides. I uploaded this from the internet. I just put in a Google search for radio flyer logo. I uploaded it to my Cricut, and then I cut it out, and now I am going to stencil it on. So I'm going to remove the backing, and I'm going to find the center. I'm just going to eyeball it, find the center, which I think is about right there. And of course I cut 2 of them out because I have 2 sides. So I want one to be on one side and one on the other side. And let's remove that. Oh, this is so cute. So adorable. Oh my God, look how cute that is. Oh. Okay, we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So I'm going to remove the backing. And again, I'm just going to eyeball it. This guy doesn't want to seem to stay. There we go. Okay, they're not adorable. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Now I went ahead and I glued all my wheels together. So I just got some Jenga blocks that I painted black, got a dowel that I painted black. These are the inserts to my mason jars that I doubled, and I spray painted them white, and I attached with hot glue to the dowels. Okay, and that's going to act as my axle. And before I put it on, I'm going to paint around the edge with black paint to look like tires. So I'm just going to get some black paint, and we're going to just freehand it so it looks like tires. Okay, so I'm just going to do that to all 4. Okay, our wheels are dry, and now we're ready to finish our wagon. So I am going to turn it over, and we are going to put the wheels on. So I am going to put this one right here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue on the Jenga blocks. Put that right there. And then do the same thing on the other side. And now we're ready to put the little red caps on the wheels. And that's it. We're done. Radio Flyer Wagon. Project number 2 is making faux caramel and candy apples. Okay, we're going to start with our caramel apples. So what you need is apples. I have 3 of them. You will need bowls. Your bowl to drop all the stuff in. You're going to need a mixing bowl. You're going to need apple barrel classic caramel acrylic paint, and you're going to need gloss Mod Podge. You don't have to buy a gallon like this. It comes much smaller. You're going to need dowels, which I cut to 7 inches. You are going to need corn cob bedding litter. And I got this on Amazon. All my products I got from Amazon. The links will be in the description below this video. You don't need so much of it, but this will be the topping for our caramel apples because it looks like nuts. That's what it looks like. You will need a screwdriver, some pliers, hot glue, and then to rest your apple after we're all done, you need wax paper on a piece of cardboard so that we can rest our apples on there. So let's get started. First thing you want to do is you want to pull out the little stem on the apple. That's why you need your pliers. You're just going to take that and yank it out. Okay? Then you need the screwdriver because now you want to make a little hole in there because that's where we're going to put our dowel. So make a little hole like that. It should be easy because it's just styrofoam. And you're going to take your dowel and you're going to stick it in there. Okay, and we're going to add a little hot glue so that it is secure in there. So take your glue, shoot it in the hole, and pop your stick in there. Okay, that's one. These I already did, so I'm just going to put the glue in there and put my stick in there. Okay, now we're ready to make our little mixture. So we're going to take some acrylic paint, the caramel, classic caramel, and we're going to squirt some into our cup. I want to be generous with it. And we're going to do equal parts paint and Mod Podge. So I'm going to pour some Mod Podge in there, equal parts. And we're going to mix it around. Now the reason for the gloss is because I want it to have a glossy finish, like a caramel apple. Now that is a little too watery, so I am going to add more paint. I put a little too much Mod Podge in there, so just be careful with that. Okay, so now we're going to drizzle it over our apple. So that's why you have this container here, so it catches the drizzle. Okay, so let's see how that goes. So we're going to put it over, and we're just going to pour. Okay, and then we're going to dip it in the nut mixture. And then we're just going to lay it on the wax paper. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with this one. Okay, and now we're just going to wait for that to dry. So for the red candy apples, we're going to do the same thing with the sticks. I already pulled out the stem, so I'm just going to take my screwdriver and hollow out the holes. And then I'm just going to glue those sticks in the center. So I'm going to shoot some glue in there. And I'm just going to shove my stick right in the center there. Okay, so while that's drying, we're going to make our candy coating. So we are going to use epoxy resin. It comes in 2 parts, and you want to put equal parts in. We're going to use epoxy resin, and then for the coloring, we're going to use candy coloring, and this is an oil-based candy coloring. And of course, we're going to use the red. So I'm going to put some gloves on. Now, I can't find my measuring cup that came with the epoxy, so I am just going to draw a line so I know how much I put in. So I'm going to take one of the bottles, and I'm going to put it to that line. Okay, and I'm going to just mix it up, and then I'm going to pour it into my bigger cup. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. I'm going to pour it to that line. And I'm going to add that to the mixture. Okay, and then I'm going to add the coloring as I see fit. So I'm just going to add a little bit of the red and mix that around and see how I like the color, because I want it to be a deep, deep red. See, that is a little too orangey still, so I'm going to add some more. And you have about 40 minutes to play around with this resin before it hardens. So we have enough time to get it right. I'm probably going to end up using all of my red because I want it to be a nice deep red. Yeah, see, we're getting there. So you know what, I'm just going to use up all the red because I want it to be nice and fire engine red, Christmas red. Oh, that's perfect. See, that is perfect. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. I can throw that out. And now we have our bigger tub because I want to catch all the dripping. Now, I already covered a piece of cardboard with wax paper because you're going to let it dry on that wax paper, and when it dries, all the drippings will collect at the bottom and you'll get that nice candy crust on the bottom, like a candy apple. Okay, so we are ready to pour it over the apple. Now I'm going to wrap the apples up in these treat bags, just like you find them in the store. So you're going to take the apple, put it in the treat bag, and I'm going to get some raffia that I got at Dollar Tree. And we're just going to tie it in a nice little bow. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again real soon. Happy crafting!